opposite sex. Like, yes, he did see her as a girl and whatnot, but he didn't see her as a romance interest till later on when she grew up. Now, it says he's cold to her. And yes, that's because of the fallout and the false rape accusation, right? And yeah, he does force her to fight because he can't. The only thing he is good at right now at this point is just shielding, defense. And it says, unfortunately, while the nature of their relationship does change as the series continues, now Fumi continues to employ slaves to his party.
If I may, actually, right there. Allow me.
I apologize. For him cutting out, and I know it sounds like a broken record. It's just Discord. It's acting a fool today.
But anyways,
hey, you keep heading out there, Austin.
What this guy's trying to talk about is Fee. Fee isn't really a slave. He actually raised her, just like the.
Yeah. That's what you're talking. Yeah. Okay. So, if you don't mind me talking about this, since you keep cutting out, who he is talking about is Fee.
He got her revenge on the person that enslaved her.
Right. Yeah. So, before we go into Fee, since he just was talking about the slave trader, Raffi gets revenge on the slave trader for what he did. And that's a major plot point of her story arc, right? And that's also a changing point for her character. It gives her a peace of mind, and she becomes more free as the events play on. And then we go back to whoever wrote this article saying he continues to employ slaves to his party. It's written into the plot that the only way he can level up his party properly is through this method. Unfortunately, seems unescapable. That's incorrect. Two things. Number one, Fee is not a slave. I forget what kind of bird they said Fee was, but she is a giant, fluffy-looking bird, alright? She's strong,
actually,
too.
She's a queen. The queen of her race, believe it or not, after.
That's right.
Little spoiler.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's cut out still, and I apologize. But Fee willingly joined Fumi's party. He didn't force her into it. And that's evident in the manga. And that'll be evident in the series as it goes on. And number two, he can fight. He has offense abilities. Because as we saw in chapter 17 or 18 of the manga, he had a special shield that gave him offense abilities. But that was due to some dark powers pulling the string behind the scenes. And as it goes on, he learns to control that power to then make it his own, where it's not so uncontrollable, where he loses himself in it. But most of the time, he will use his defense abilities. And we see that because as the manga progressed, as you read further in the manga, we saw now Fumi started to work with the other three heroes, started to make everything better again, and he started to work with them so they could then defeat the, what was it called? Where they go...
The Wave.
Yes, the Wave, where they go and defeat the Wave. Now,
a little thing quickly.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
I'm not cutting in and out actually here, but a little spoiler. If you don't know, if you haven't noticed, it's kind of been thrown around a little bit. There is the Church of the Three Heroes, which it doesn't celebrate the Shield Hero, because the Shield Heroes...
What he was trying to say in that part where he cut out...
Queen actually messed for the simple fact because he didn't like them, and the Queen that you're going to meet later on, wonderful person.
Oh, yes. But what he was trying to say is the hero of the three churches, the heroes of the three churches, they don't like the shield hero because was it because he only had defense abilities, or was it because of something else? I can't quite remember. But they hated the shield hero. They disgraced him, and that's why it was in chapter 17 when it was revealed that the three churches, the three hero churches, something along that line. And then later on, the queen comes into view, into the picture, and she, like Austin said, the queen is just a wonderful person in the story. They wrote her fantastically. I hope that's how she is in the anime series. She basically puts the king and princess to death. Malty, she tries to sway Naofumi again by saying, we accept my apology and whatnot, but he says, put her to death! And, you know, it's absolutely hilarious that he said that. But yeah, what he was... I know he kept cutting in and out, and I tried my best to explain as much as I could remember from what he was saying. But then, the best part about this article, it brings in Goblin Slayer. Like, how can you bring in Goblin Slayer that was two things? One, it was pure fantasy, and number two, it had goblins in it. Alright?
And, well, I mean, actually, Justin, the difference between Goblin Slayer and Shield Hero, that first episode with the fighter was my major issue. If she came back as, you know, Goblin Slayer.
He got out. Sorry about that, you guys. But, no. Yeah, what he's saying is, episode 1 of Goblin Slayer had shown the rape, right? So it's understandable that it would cause controversy, that it would get blasted, right? But Shield Hero, right? It had an accusation. The rape never happened, and we know this because Malty admitted it later down in the series, and I'm sure it will get adapted into the anime because it's 25 episodes. But the hilarious thing is, people are just completely losing their minds about this. Like, I understand losing your mind about episode 1 of Goblin Slayer, but when you're talking about another anime that has a false accusation, don't bring a series in that actually had shown the rape, that actually has rape in it.
Yeah. And going a little on that whole... It's the Me Too movement.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yes, the Me Too movement. Yeah, I forgot about that.
I hate saying... It's horrible to put it, but it's the truth, and I guess I'm saying the truth these days, or it's bad, but...
I'm sorry, he keeps cutting out for
honestly, because, as I said, I know actual people that's happened to them, both sides of the spectrum. I mean, it's not a very easy thing to come out and say. It really isn't.
No, it's not. It's hard to talk about that. And I just don't understand,
making this stuff up.
Right. Yeah, people making stuff up and all that. Now,
and this is going to piss people off.
I don't know what's going to piss people off because you cut out there, and maybe...
That's just how Shield Hero was. They didn't like him.
No,
so that's why it happened.
Yeah. They wanted to plot against him to get him out, but they couldn't because, as the legend goes, only the 4 heroes can defeat the wave. Not 3, not 2, and not 1, and nobody else. Only the 4 heroes. The Shield Hero... I think it was the Lance Hero, the Bow Hero, and the Sword Hero. Am I correct? I don't know what you were saying because you're silent. You keep cutting out. But if I'm incorrect, I'm sure you'll correct me later, Austin. So that's perfectly fine. But no, as the article comes to a close, it says it's up to the viewers themselves. Yeah, it's up to us to decide whether or not it will be enough to distract us from watching the series, but the controversy, as they say, is rooted. It's not a great look for a fantasy series to show off such ugly realities in such a distorted way. And although it's admittedly handled better here than in the original light novels... Oh my god! Okay!
Wait, whoa.
Okay, so of course it's going to be handled better in the anime than it is in the light series, because the light series has to be descriptive to get an idea for the manga, because it goes from a light novel, then to a manga, and then if it gets popular enough, it goes from a manga to an anime adaptation. So the light novel has to be descriptive. There's no, and then it goes on saying there's no real reason for such an intense element such as this right from the get-go. Excuse me. I just... Who wrote this article? Let's see here. Nick Valdez. Nick Valdez.
Nick the idiot. What?
I don't know, I didn't hear anything. Okay. Think about it like this. If you're an author of a book, right? And you start writing an event like a fight scene, or say you're writing a crime book that has a murder in it, you're going to be descriptive of whatever is going on in that scene. Like, alright, so I have my own book, right? And let me use an example. Alright, so there is a part in the first book that I wrote a couple years ago that there is a death that happens, right? It's in a scene where they're eating, the two people are eating lunch, right? It's a brother and a sister. The brother and sister walk out to get on the bus. But the brother goes back in to grab his phone, and when the brother walks out, the bus explodes, and everybody goes flying. The brother sent flying, the sister sent flying, and then when the brother gets up, the sister is crushed under the bus, shrapnel's everywhere, right? You've got to be descriptive of what event is happening. Then for the manga, right? When you draw it, having a descriptive explanation of the scene helps the artist of the manga draw what is going on. And then in the manga, having a descriptive event in the manga helps the artists in the anime adaptation to draw a descriptive scene, and that's what it was. So what you're saying here, Nick, does not make any sense whatsoever. Alright, so this other thing that I'd wanted to read, it is what Austin put on his Twitter. It's about the Me Too movement and the slavery. He's saying, for the people thinking Shield Hero is promoting slavery and making fun of the Me Too movement, he goes to explain Raphatilia, or Raffi, was a slave, yeah, but the difference that is to like real life in this is took her in and saved her life, treated her like a daughter. He put extra money into her well-being over his well-being himself, as for like buying her clothes instead of him new clothes, right? He refused to reapply the slave seal back, after Multi had it removed. And then Raphatilia gets revenge on the guy that got her enslaved and killed her friend. So that would be the guy that captured her when she was young and sold her to the slave trader. She went back and got revenge on him for that. She saved demi-humans from being enslaved. So yeah, if you haven't read the manga, go read it. That's what it is about. And then he goes on to say, the Me Too movement is BS. Welcome to harsh reality, where the people that actually get raped aren't believed because too many cry wolf, because they don't like the person. Malty didn't like the Shield Hero because he stood in her way of becoming the queen. People don't like the Shield Hero. That's just how it is. And then, to get rid of him, she decided to falsely accuse him of rape. Unlike in real life. Malty, got her. Even her father was supporting her. So here it says, I understand the Shield Hero didn't rape me. It did happen. It was all a lie. She admits that it was all a lie, that it was an act. And then this one goes on to say, and their names are hereby changed from, I don't know how to say that, to trash and Malty to that. And the queen is absolutely incredible. She says, for those who persist in using incorrect names, there's always, I can't tell what that says. I apologize for that. For those who persist in using incorrect names, there's awaits punishment. The queen is absolutely incredible. And then here it says, so in conclusion, if you think it's unethical in the story, this happens in real life. And, he goes on to explain a real life event that happened. He dated a girl that did that. He says that it was awful seeing his friend's life get ruined over a false claim. It's wrong. That's what he's saying. And he's saying it applies to real life. And now you understand how it feels to be falsely accused. It's not making fun of it. It's showing the harsh reality of me, too. Remember, slavery has been around for ages. You lost the war, you were either dead or a slave. Unlike in real life, Rafatouille got her revenge, unlike many. Thank you. Yes, that's absolutely correct. Slavery goes on to this day, right? And back then, it was even worse. Like, with the wars, if you were captured, you would either be killed or turned into a slave. And you couldn't do nothing about it. When you were a slave, you had no rights. But the manga and the anime is completely different. It's called fantasy for a reason. So, yeah. Anyway, this video has been a long one, really. Now that I think about it, I might put a two-parter. Yeah. So, if you guys enjoyed, do be sure to leave a like. This has been really fun to make, I'm not gonna lie. It's been really fun to sit down with Austin, a fellow YouTuber and a good friend of mine. If you haven't already, subscribe to his channel, go check him out in the description below. And, yeah. See you guys in the next video. Peace.